Hi there, Stargazer. Star-Lord is here with my final word on the topic of the month of November, which is the Pluto transit moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. Now, I have done a reading, or not a reading, but an astrology video on this prior to, I think it was last year. But this is my final analysis now that we have come so close to the event happening, and also taking into account that Pluto has been in Aquarius most of 2024. It just retroed back into Capricorn for a brief period, so we kind of got a little bit of a sneak peek into what was actually going on here. So here's my final analysis now on the movement, which will be happening, I believe, on the 19th of November. So here's the conclusion I have come to. Now, when it comes to the Capricorn energy, it's quite different, like I've mentioned before. It's hugely different from the Aquarian energy. So what we're going to be moving into over the next, 19 years or so, we are going to be feeling the energy shift. Every single person on the planet will be. Remember, Pluto is a very large planet, and it affects the entire globe. It affects the entire globe, as well as governments. And as we see what's going on around the globe right now, there's massive changes, there's massive there's strikes, there's rebellions, there's protests all over the place, which is not really surprising because of the fact that the sign of Aquarius does rule these things. Absolutely. But what is Aquarius actually after? They're doing all of these things to bring in something better, right? When somebody strikes at a company because they're trying to bring in better circumstances to that situation. Now, Aquarius is trying to usher in what? Freedom. The entire sign is all about freedom and the collective. This is about community and the collective. So it's really interesting to watch what's been going on. I think everyone can agree all across the globe that there is something really, really different about these times we're living in right now. And were they meant to be? I do believe so. If you follow astrology, you can see patterns in the past, going back, hundreds of years ago. You can see where these patterns were in play. Now, yes, it's absolutely true. If everybody thinks that this is just some crazy time in the world where there's upheaval and things will be going back to normal, I don't see that happening, honestly, because there is not going to be a return to what we've already lived through, especially through Pluto and Capricorn. There were, and this goes back to 2008, there was a certain energy that sort of surrounded the entire globe. And now that energy is passing out, and we're in a shift right now. That's why everything feels energetically so unsettling. People sometimes don't want to watch the news, they don't want to look at things because they just want to live their lives and pretend everything is okay. But even those people who may not be cognitively aware of what is happening, they're aware on some kind of energetic level. Their soul, their spirit is aware that something is going on. There's a rumbling. So already with that said, I just want to add what we're looking at now, moving into Aquarius, because it seems like people all over the globe now are looking for a certain thing. They're looking for more freedom, less restrictions. People don't want to put up with things like censorship. People want freedom of speech. People want to be able to have their voices heard, and rightly so. So looking at this one aspect of it, when we take into consideration the globalization situation that is happening here, there's globalists who are out there who are trying to move us into a certain, like, they know the shift is here, so they're trying to shift it into a certain into a certain direction, let's just say. So for any of you who watch the World Economic Forum, Davos and things like that, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And the types of things that they are proposing for the future seems to me a little bit more on the authoritarian side, seems to be leaning more towards restrictions. And these are the things that Aquarius is adamantly opposed to. So you see where I'm going with this, but you have to take into account that when all of these ideas at the WEF were formed, they were formed with when Pluto was in Capricorn, some of them even prior to that, but they've expanded on them since Pluto was in Capricorn. And perhaps they made sense when Pluto was in Capricorn because it was a little bit more about authoritarianism and restrictions and things like that. But I feel going forward, it's not going to work. So I think what we're experiencing here is a plan that was made with Pluto in Capricorn is now clashing with Pluto in Aquarius, where we're going. People want to feel free. And you know what? I have to say one thing to all of the governments out there. You must take into account what your people want. Remember, you are there as government officials on behalf of the people. In any country that you're in, you're supposed to be doing what the people want. Now I think it's time for all of you to take note of what the people in your country want and go accordingly. Because if you don't, you're going to be seeing so much pushback, and it really isn't worth it. You are there to serve the people of your country. So it's time you start listening to them. And Pluto in Aquarius is going to demand that. And remember too, we're just going into the early degrees of Pluto in Aquarius. Once it starts picking up momentum, after a couple of years have gone by, you're going to see massive changes, and we're going to see the people rise up, and we're going to see the people let the governments know what they want and what they don't want. And I know for a fact the majority of people want freedom. They want better living conditions. And again, rightly so, because Aquarius is the humanitarian of the zodiac, right? So you better do what's right for the people. Now I'm speaking to the governments or anybody in positions of power. Now this goes across the board, even for corporations and things like that. If you're in power, remember, things are changing, and it's time to be more fair when it comes to the people that you depend on. If you're a corporation, the people who work for you, they are the backbone of your company. You must learn to give the people what they want, in the sense that to be fair to them, because Pluto in Aquarius is going to demand this. And also too, when it comes to moving, everything goes through shifts, including the world, the globe, the earth goes through shifts, and it's time for change. Yes, it absolutely is. We're also asking for change in terms of rapid advancement in terms of better healthcare. We need to do something different when it comes to improving the health. And when people do get sick with diseases and things like that, we need new innovations. And again, Pluto in Aquarius is going to require that, is going to ask for that, is going to demand that. So if there's anything out there that has already been developed, the people are going to want to see it and be able to use it. If it's not, then it needs to be developed. And we need to go forward with brilliant minds who are looking at future advancement in technology, such as Elon Musk and people like him. We need to push and get behind people like that who are going to help bring things and use technology and AI and these things for the good of the people and good of society, and not for anything nefarious, let's just say. So we need to be able to move forward in life in a freer way. We don't want these authoritarian leaders anymore. And I also would go so far as to say is during Pluto and Aquarius, maybe we will see the end of the restrictive regime, such as communist parties and things like that. We may see the end of it. They may dismantle it, because this, at the end of the day, is not what people want. People want and they crave, and their soul needs freedom. So I think going forward, governments, again, I implore you to listen to the people, not to the corporations and the non-elected officials that line your pockets. You need to start listening to the people. And this is my message, and believe me, this comes from the heart. This is also comes from a lot of knowledge and a lot of things that I have learned, especially over the last 5 years. So, you know, take it for what it is. I know what I know, and I know what I know in my heart and my soul. And I know what is coming forward. This is a message to let you all know, all of you who are confused out there, all of you who, you know, may be really, really scared about the way forward. Maybe it might be not maybe, it's probably going to be a little bit of a rough road getting there, but I do believe freedom will win in the end, because it must. It must, no matter what we need to go through. Now, I say to the people on the other side, like the people who are trying to keep it in that dictator, authoritarianism type of energy, please, please just make it easy on the world and just try and work with the people. And I think at this point, this is probably, maybe I'll do a follow-up if I get a lot of questions here. I do want to hear from you, the people, because this is what it's all about, right? We need to listen to each other and find out where we're all going together as a collective. We need to figure this out now, and we need to move forward, because you have to know if you're going to go and ask for changes, especially when it comes to, you know, large matters. You have to know what you want. So this is the time for us all to figure out what we want. Figure out a plan, make a plan, and figure it out. And then we can take it from there. We must all unite together as a collective and move forward in that way, in a very free way. That's the best way I can put it. I'm just doing this video on the fly. I knew I still had to do the astrology video for Pluto and Aquarius, but I didn't really have the time to do full research, and I was going to delay the video, but this came to me out of the anti-cosmos naturally. I'm super busy. I'm doing a lot of filming right now, but I had to get this video out and just throw it out there. I want to hear what you guys think about this video and what you guys feel about the way forward. So I guess this is Star Lordess right now signing off. I want to send you all much love, much happiness, and prosperity for the future. Bye-bye for now.